seventh episode of my podcast, Building with Joao. Today, I want to talk with you about distribution channels and how they are really important when you are building a project, and they should be taken into account since day one. Even before start building, you need to know on which channels you want to distribute your product. And why are they important? Because we all know that building projects is really fun, but it's much nicer when you can have users using them. I have built several products in the last months, and most of them don't have any users, which is not that motivating. Right? And they don't have users because some of them don't have any distribution channel. Only the ones that really have a distribution channel have users using it. All the other ones, no one knows about it, so no one uses it. So this is super critical when you're starting to build a project. You really need to have this distribution channel in mind. And there are different types of distribution channel. One of them is paid, like the ads, that you can run ads and have people coming to your products through these ads, which I don't recommend at all when you start building a project. So this is important when you want to grow a product, but in the beginning, it's a loss of money unless you really know how to do it. I don't have any experience, never tried, so cannot give advice in that sense. But I will only try once I already have some users and really know that the product has some kind of product market fit. The other one is outreach, like cold emails, cold DMs, active outreach on the socials. Really find your users and try to get them on board. I think this is very good in the beginning to try to get some users to your product, but it requires that you are always on top of it. You can automate those things, true, but it requires a lot of investment on your end, and you might not get the people on the time that they are really wanting to use the product. So that's something to be taken into account. But it's a good distribution channel for your product. Another one are the socials. That's the easiest one for everybody. Everybody has a social end. Not everybody has audience there, but you can try to grow your audience. But this is one way to get your product known by others and try to have some users on it. It works, but it only works if you are actively promoting it. If you have, for example, like I'm trying to have different types of products, I cannot promote all of them whenever I'm talking on the socials. So I can only promote one or two, depending on the context. So it's really hard to get users for me from the socials at this stage. Also because my audience is not the audience of my products, which makes it also very hard. Then there's organic, like SEO and word of mouth. This is the best channel that you can have because it's completely organic, meaning that people are coming without you doing much on top of it. And you can also have affiliates. It's also another type, organic distribution channels. But here requires some efforts on your end to make it work, and takes time. It's the channel that takes more time to see some results on top of it. So when starting a product and launching it, it's very hard to have the SEO really running from day one. So it takes time to see the results. And I still need to invest more time on that end on my own to really know how to leverage that part. And then there's another distribution channel that I want to talk to you more deeply today, which are marketplace and ecosystems. These are kind of Shopify, WordPress, Crisp, Zoom, any type of existing platforms that provides developers to build apps on top of it. This helps you to have a distribution channel because usually they have their own marketplace, and then you can build apps on top of them. The downside is that usually these plugins are not the biggest SaaS. So in terms of return, like in terms of growth of your app, you are always limited in the size of your app per se. But still, it's a very good way to start. And that's what I want to share a little bit from my previous experience on the different products that I've built in the past and which type of distribution channels I've used, me and my teams, and which one works, which one didn't, and a little bit about that. So starting with Virtu. Virtu is my biggest successful project so far, and it started during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, there was a big need for virtual event platforms. So we were on the right time with the right product. So back then, there were also a lot of events talking about events and about platforms about events. So we choose to use kind of a guerrilla marketing strategy. We went to these webinars, to these virtual events, and start spreading the word of Feartly. And eventually some of the users wanted to try because they were there. They were our target customers. They were there because they wanted to know more about platforms for events. And we were there spreading, even if we were not speaking on the part of the webinars. In some of them we were, but not in all of them. But we try to spread that in the comments and try to outreach or to spread the word about Weirdly there. And some of them started to use. And once they started to use, those type of customers make the new customers coming from word of mouth because they liked it. And if you attend an event, you like about that platform, you know someone that's organizing an event, you talk about it. So it was perfect in terms of word of mouth because people liked our platform and it was working really well. And we were super confident about it that we didn't care much about marketing at some point because it was working, it was fulfilling our needs. And then after the pandemic, the word of mouth, and there were less and less events, there were less need, and that stopped working, unfortunately. And that was something that we could have done differently, to focus also on other distribution channels and not focus only on one once this was working. Don't rely completely on that one, especially it was one that was not super solid. So for example, we should have worked more on SEO to have a more regular and constant inflow of users. Another example is Gomada. Gomada was a sub product that we built within Weirdly, the main company, but it was a completely separate product. And it was a product focused on team building activities. There, we had a marketing team that was really focusing on purely SEO. That's the strategy that we used. So we created a big blog about team building, really super well structured, strategically was really good. And this was proven to work super well because there we had at the peaks about 100 signups per week. So we were really getting constant inflow of users. Then product didn't continue at some point, but it was not because of the distribution channel in this case. This was more because of the product itself, the market around it. People were not ready for this type of team building activities. But in terms of distribution channel, the SEO was proven to really work very well. Now, coming more to my indie project. So one of the projects I started when I started my indie hacking journey and building in public was Quick Actions. So Quick Actions is a plugin on top of Crisp. And so far, this has been the project that has having more users for me today. And because I built it on top of this marketplace. We had more than 400 users already install this application. And I have regularly 1 to 2, 3, 4 users installing this plugin on their Crisp. So just by the fact that this plugin is on the marketplace, it brings me some users every day. And I don't do anything. I don't do anything in terms of SEO. I don't do anything in terms of marketing, which is not good, but I still have this inflow of users. So I think to start the indie hacking project, this is one of the best ways to start. And that's also what Rob Wallings in this stair-step method proposed, is that you build your products on top of an existing ecosystem. Even if it's a small plugin, you build on top of it. And you try to monetize it from there and try to build several ones, and then until you can go to a more broader audience and multiple channels until you have your big SaaS working on. So this was about Quick Actions. Then I built several other products, and all of them I didn't care about the distribution channel from day one. So I just built, launched it on Twitter, and hope for the best. Of course, users are very hard to come, and most of them had some users when I launched here and there on Reddit, on Peloton, but not something that it's solid and that it's consistent on the time. So, and the main reason, because I didn't think about the distribution channel. I hope that it would work just for the sake of working. So that's something that I really need to improve for myself and really try to nail it for the future. But we have now wanted also to talk a little bit about TrailerWave, and that's because that's the product that I'm mostly involved in the recent weeks and months. And the TrailerWave, I've also built it without any distribution channel in mind. I know that this is a product that it's made for Shopify. owners, but we didn't build it on top of Shopify wrongly. We built it as a standalone product. You could just put your Shopify link, and then we build video for your Shopify product. But we could have done that directly on the marketplace of Shopify, and then be automatically on top of their marketplace and having constant inflow of users trying out this application. We instead focus on the cold outreach, so we scrape some pages from Shopify, some lists of Shopify stores, getting some products from there, creating a video to them, and send a personalized outreach campaign via email. This got some users, got some customers as well, but it's not very solid because we are not reaching to the people when they want a product, or they might not be needing the product, they might already be having other users. So the target, despite being a Shopify store, might not be the right user at that time. So we are now trying, and that's what the focus that Andrew and myself are putting in place this week, is to really focus on creating this native Shopify app so that we can have this distribution channel working and focus on SEO in terms of Shopify marketplace and really try to have a constant inflow of users. Don't know how this is really gonna work, but seeing the example of quick actions on top of the Crisp marketplace, which is much smaller, so it's also easier to get more visibility. But I hope that this will also work on top of Shopify and that people will like it and start reviewing it, the app, and start getting more known by the other Shopify users. Yeah, so that's my current focus of the week, really trying to make this Shopify app together with Andrew and see if this will bring us some more results and customers for TrailerWave. So as a conclusion, I think you should have the distribution channel on top of your mind even before start building a product. And that's what I'm going to try to do in all my other products, to really nail where I'm going to launch it, where I'm going to make some users coming on a solid way, so that I don't have issues during the way, that if I stop promoting it, it stops getting users. Because that's, as a solopreneur or even in a small team, bootstrapped, it's really hard if you rely only on your efforts to make your product known by others. So really focus on having this distribution channel in mind since the day you start building it. It really helps you guiding your product in the right way and be more likely to succeed in the future. So, and if you're, so I think really hope that this will also work for TrailerWave. And I will keep sharing my update, and hope to have you on the other side to listen to it, and looking forward to know which other type of distribution channels you use and see if I can learn from you. And that would be really good to know and to interact and know more what the type of distribution channels you are doing and what you are doing with your product, and see if I could find other distribution channels for my own products. Hope to see you next week. And until then, have a good time. Cheers.